The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
You're with child.
I am. This is like the first time I've talked about it besides my own podcast. But yeah,
Is it
I
weird
am.
talking about it like the world knows now?
It's definitely weird. I don't know. It was, it's just one of those things that's like, when's the right time to talk about it and share and what to share. But yeah, I am having a baby. We are having a baby.
I'm so happy for you. How did you find out that you were pregnant?
A test. It's a classic pregnancy test.
I peed on a stick.
Yeah. I just felt like I should take a pregnancy test.
It's just like an instinct.
Yes. And then I did, and we were leaving for Australia the next day. And it was kind of just like a whirlwind.
Wow. And so he found out with you right there. You weren't like, am I going to throw him off with the Iron Man? Should I withhold it?
Well, I didn't actually think about that. Maybe I should.
No, I don't.
But he wasn't home when I took the test. Like, I just took the test with my dog.
I can't even imagine a world where like how would you not tell your partner like this news, right? Like, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it was like he was coming home that night. Like, I knew he would be home soon, but I was like, do I call him and tell him? And then I'm like, no, this is exciting. Like, I should tell him in person. So I texted him and I was like, how much longer until you get home? And he was like, I don't know, I'll be home. It was like 2:30 probably. And he was like, I'll be home at like 6.
You were probably bouncing off the walls, like screaming.
I was just trying to like distract myself. I was like putting anything on TV that I felt like would maybe distract me. I was watching Vanderpump Rules and I was like this will distract me. And it did not at all.
I bet it couldn't.
It couldn't.
Did you, forgive me if I missed some sort of video, did you record this at all?
No.
Okay, I'd love to hear about that because, you know, you're documenting your life and then figuring out what moments you're going to share and what moments you're not. Mm-hmm. And did you always know you wouldn't document this moment?
No, I think I wish I did. I wish I filmed it to get his reaction, but I think like I'm happy that we have the memory, the two of us, and like that's all that really matters, you know?
Definitely. And it's always tough to determine like when is a moment I want to remember it with my eyes versus like remember it through the phone. And I feel like even when we have a camera, sometimes it can feel like performative,
totally,
even when you're not trying to be.
Yeah, like his parents knew we were filming because we kind of did like pretending to take a selfie and said like, everybody say Kelsey's pregnant type of thing. So they like knew there was a camera on them, but mine didn't, and I'm happy about that because I feel like people like react differently when they know there's a camera on them. And also like the only thing I was thinking about in the moment of telling Cody was just like telling my husband that we're having a baby and not like the camera and like what if I don't get the right angle. Like nothing really matters in that moment except us and the baby. So like it was didn't really even cross my mind.
I'm so excited for you guys.
Thanks.
Talk about like the coolest parents ever.
Oh my God.
This child has won the jackpot.
Thanks. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Does it feel like your wedding was yesterday? Does it feel like it was forever ago now? I always go back and forth.
It feels like yesterday, so it really wasn't that long ago.
Right.
I think because it's so exciting that we're having a baby, and it's like we are just so excited about that. But like, I like to think about our wedding and stuff still because I'm like, we should still think about that because it wasn't that long ago. So like, it still does feel like pretty much just yesterday.
And what from your wedding went like exactly to plan? And did anything like, were there any problems on wedding day, and how did you navigate?
It was a pretty seamless day. I'm pretty happy with how the whole thing went. I think I was like a lot chiller of a bride than I thought I was going to be because I tend to like get stressed out or worry about certain things. But there was something about like my wedding day, and I was just like, nothing really matters. I get to marry Cody, and everyone that I would want to be here is here. And like, I think I just was so aware that this is just like one of those things that like I've thought about for so long, just like your wedding. Like you think of like, what is my wedding going to be like? Who am I going to marry? All of those things. And ideally, you only have one of them. I knew this was like my one and only wedding. I knew Cody's it. And so I just wanted to be as like present and happy and like in the moment as I could be. And so it was like, nothing really bothered me too much. It's like, it is what it is. Whatever goes wrong, which actually nothing really did, at least that I know about. we had a really, really great wedding planner that I think really went into that whole feeling. But it was the best. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change any of it.
Oh, I love that. I'm so happy to hear it. And I wholeheartedly agree. I remember even getting like a text in the morning from the wedding planner about something and just thinking like, I don't want to do this. Like, you've got it. Like, you've done a million weddings, like whatever, like however it is. Like, I want to be with my bridesmaids in the suite right now and like be present, you know? So I completely agree. Like, I think too, when people are stressed about their wedding, which I was not like bridezilla-y. At least I don't think we should interview my friends, but I don't think I was. But, and similar to you, like I felt more chill than I would have expected myself to be. And I just come back to like, as long as you get to marry your person, everything else is a cherry on top. And I think the closer you get to your wedding, the more you realize like that's what's more important, not like the color of the tablecloths and how they coordinate with like the napkin and the silverware.
Right.
So, I think that's such a grounded approach.
And like if you're marrying the right person, that should be like what you're most excited about.
So when did you know like that Cody was the one? And when your friends ask you like, oh, how do you know? I'm always like, I give the worst answer. I'm like, what they say is true. When you know, you know.
I
you just
say that
know.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because I just have always known that Cody is the one since like when I met him. I think like I remember meeting him. I always have a hard time describing the feeling, but it was like everything that I would have been like self-conscious about or maybe didn't say, or like a joke I didn't say, or me being goofy and me being like the real me, like any worry I had about that was just quiet. And like I felt like safe to be exactly who I actually was from like the day that I met him. And I just remember like talking to him and being like, oh my God, I haven't like laughed with someone like this like ever. And like I haven't been able to like just like joke around and say these jokes that maybe normally I would have been like, is that a stupid joke, or is this guy gonna think I'm funny? Like none of that went through my head. I like felt like the most me that I've ever felt. I always like had a pretty strong sense of self, but like there are certain times like when you just, you know, exactly like you're around other people and you're like, oh, they're not gonna laugh at this joke, or like I don't need to sing along to this song, whatever it is. Like there's just like moments of like you being quiet. Like I just started to be more myself in every single aspect and like gained so many amazing new friendships that like are the best friendships I've ever had, and like have started a new career that I never thought I would do, that like I thrive in and like that I love doing. And it's just like all of those other pieces started to fall into place when I like felt confident enough to be myself.
What was the version of you like that was not being 100% authentic or 100% like the true way you wanted to show up in the world prior to this?
I think like more just in general, it was like I always had kind of a hard time like sticking up for myself, and not because like I didn't think I deserved to stick up for myself. It was more just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to get into that type of thing.
Like confrontation.
Yeah. Or like people I dated. Like, I just remember like dating someone and being like, does this person even know that I'm funny? Like, have I ever said, like, I know I'm funny. My friends know I'm funny. My parents know I'm funny. Why am I spending so much time with this guy who like doesn't care to listen to any idea or funny thought or anything I have to say? Really, I always knew who I was, but I would silence myself around people just to please them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, to make their experience better.
Right.
Like, how can I make myself small or adjust how I'm behaving to make sure everyone else around me has the experience they want to have?
Right.
At the cost of me.
Yes. And it's like, and I knew I was doing it. Like I said, like my sense of self was there, but I wasn't like letting it shine. It was more just like, I kind of was always like, as long as you know who you are, like I always was like, if you have a good relationship with yourself, like I know who I am. Just because this guy doesn't know I'm funny, like at least you know you're funny, and like that's all that matters. But then at the same time, it's like, well, you're still silencing that part of yourself, and it's like you should be able to show that side of yourself. That's part of loving yourself. And so I think that like that was what was lacking, was that I just wasn't like letting it all out.
Yeah.
I was like just silencing certain parts of myself that I knew were there, but that I just like didn't feel like people cared to see.